Hello everyone. It's now 5:56 p.m. in the afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it. And excuse me. I'm so tired. Thankfully, I was able to get help for a hotel night. And thanks so much to the person who donated. Um and thanks to y'all from last night and yesterday evening as well. But yeah, I just got out of the shower and I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be on the video because I'm really, really tired and my body needs rest. And my feet hurt. And I mean, well, I guess I must have, well, I didn't think I would have been on my feet all afternoon, but, um, you know, but yeah, my feet hurt quite bad. And I am so tired that I do not know if I'm going to live stream tonight or not. My body needs rest. And, I had to be on the streets for 3 nights in a row. And my legs are swollen. And when I took a shower, it's like when I gotta, like sometimes I be so tired that like I have to sit down and either wash and rinse myself sitting down or at least rinse myself sitting down or wash myself sitting down and then rinse myself standing up or vice versa, whatever. And so even, getting in and out of the tub or, or standing up or sitting down in the tub, it's really difficult, and also it feels like my legs are about to like feels like my legs are about to burst, and and when I was trying to wash my feet, I was sitting down and I was trying to wash my feet and they tried to squeeze my organs, excuse me. So I'm sorry that I'm if I might be talking too slow for y'all, cause I mean I'm kind of out of breath a little bit and feeling like extremely like tired, and my heart rate, like my heart is beating hard and fast, and my left leg is trying to hurt. So, but I had a meal, maybe like 2 or between 2 o'clock and maybe 2:30. It was 2 something this morning that I ate multi-grain toast, eggs, turkey bacon, and well, when I tried to have the fruit, the fruit was not fresh. I don't even like red grapes, never did, but those were the only fresh fruit I was able to eat. And like the cantaloupe, I'm sorry, that wasn't cantaloupe, honeydew melon. It was honeydew melon and a piece of orange and what was and pineapple it was like, I'm glad the temperature was like very cold, but the fruit was like slimy, and it wasn't fresh at all, and it was slimy, and couldn't even eat. All I was able to eat was like a couple of or a few of the grapes. That was my meal in the middle of the night, trying to get out of the cold, and I was able, get out of the cold. And then after that, excuse me, well, you might as well say I had breakfast twice, but I don't know if to say I just had breakfast twice and lunch, and I'm too tired to even have dinner, a fourth meal for the day. But like the second so-called breakfast, which would have been legitimate real breakfast hours, I had I love those cheesy spinach and feta pastries. You get them all over whatever coffee shops here in New Orleans at multiple different places, and they are extremely good. And I had a little brownie, and I had like a multi fruit. What was it called? Oh, dragon fruit mango lemonade, and a brownie, and you know, and then I don't know. Well, you know what? I've been, trying to stay away from Illuminati fake fast food or whatever. But I came across yesterday. No. It was before yesterday. What's today? Monday? Was it? When I had the extra I don't have any more money on the DoorDash credits. I had the Chick-fil-A before I came here. And I figured I was gonna make that my last meal, and take a shower, do a video, and try to go to bed early. But I'm angry because my clothes, I need to get them cleaned, and I hate how it would be difficult to get quarters for laundry. And so I'm too physically tired. I'm too physically tired to wash my clothes by hand. And I can't do it tomorrow. I have to do it tonight so that, it could dry. My clothes can hopefully dry overnight. So, but I guess the earlier I do it, that's the sooner that they can dry. But my body is too physically tired to hand wash my clothes. But I need them washed. Well, with my OCD and everything, I would go insane if I can't get to clean my clothes. So, and the only pair of socks I have, I don't know about the right foot, but the left foot, I noticed a hole in my sock. And that pair was given to me the day, along with this dress. The sock was given the pair of socks. And there was another pair of socks given to me. But the other pair, I think I lost the other sock. And they were only ankle socks anyway. But, yeah. I'm starting to get so sleepy that I can't even... I feel like too tired and feel like I can't even finish telling y'all what I needed to tell y'all. That's how tired I am. But my 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 toes trying to hurt. But um bear with me, y'all. Excuse me. So those I mean, yeah. It's like, oh, they make my nose itch. There's like no way that I could have survived. Well, I mean, it was still, I was still suffered, you know, being outside in 38-degree weather with the clothes that I have. So the people that I thought that they stood me up about, you know, the clothes or whatever, but finally or the clothes and the other help that they were supposed to give me, but finally they called me just in time today, and and told me that they had a coat for me, and I went to go pick it up, and you know, but it's, well, I took a few pictures of the coat, but yeah, I guess it's something until I can get a coat that's, you know, warmer and more comfortable or whatever, you know. But I still don't think I would have survived if I had, I mean, you know, survived comfortably on the streets. Like, you know, so yeah, for late lunch, um, is after 3 o'clock. You know, I was waiting for the bus, and I had to wait for a while, and the bus came at like about 3:45. So I to pass the time and get out of the cold, I went to Chick-fil-A, and I was craving Chick-fil-A not ever since yesterday. Yesterday I saw a video of, you know how when you see I don't know if they show up on y'all feed, but if they have videos that show up on your feed about Raising Cane sauce, and people get like a huge cup of cane sauce, like the video influence, I mean the, you know, content creators, video influencers, whatever you want to call them. And you know, sometimes they would look in the camera and try to eat seductively. Excuse me, because you know how people say sex sells or whatever. And if they eat the you know, eat, they dip the chicken finger in the Raising Cane sauce in a big huge container or a big huge cup, and then they try to eat it, you know, seductively, you know, and they get more content, likes, view, I mean, you know, likes, views, whatever, you know. But tell me this, how is my writing content creation not considered, I mean, how is my writing not considered content creation, or how is my writing not work? How is it not considered work? It's like, you know, people think they got the fake authority to try to coerce me to chase after a 9 to 5 job. You know, and they don't consider my writing acceptable work. Because no matter what job I do, whether it's W-2 or entrepreneurial, the stalkers try to stop you from earning much anyway. So people are expecting me to go and seek W-2 employment or 9 to 5, and those kinds of employers refusing to hire me. You know, but how come, people could be called influencers or food reviewers, and they get paid to eat, and it's considered a job, and it earns them enough money to keep a roof over their head. And some people have small channels and doing the same thing as the popular fakes. But, some people, they do the food reviews and their channel stays small for like 5 and 6 years and stuff. And other people, it's like 1 or 2 videos and their videos take off, But yeah, yesterday I saw a video where they had a female that got Chick-fil-A sauce like you do Raising Cane's, and I forgot what she was. I mean, yeah, she did that, but even before then, it was like a few days ago, and I had credits on my DoorDash, and Chick-fil-A was one of the places, where I could have, used the DoorDash credits, but I was sad because they for some reason they didn't allow DoorDash pickup. I didn't have enough funds for delivery, so that's why I try to see about doing DoorDash pickup. And like it was probably Friday or Saturday, and I mean I haven't had Chick-fil-A for come on, ooh, they just put a Charlie horse on my leg, but I haven't had Chick-fil-A for breakfast in a long time, but regular Chick-fil-A for dinner, I seldom eat Chick-fil-A, but I don't eat at Chick-fil-A a whole lot, but for some reason I saw the chicken minis on the DoorDash app. This was before yesterday, and I had been like, when I saw the chicken minis, with the breakfast and stuff, and I haven't had those in so long, in years, and it's like, well, I was craving them, but even so, this afternoon I was craving Chick-fil-A for some reason, but so I didn't even realize, oh, you could get a deluxe sandwich. So, well, I don't like tomato, so I, had the lettuce and cheese, and none of the food was warm. And it seems like they kind of, well, it was something else they did, but I'm not going to say. But like I had like a sandwich with lettuce and cheese on it, no tomato, and I put the Chick-fil-A sauce on it, and I didn't get the dessert because I already had a dessert, and I got the medium lemonade, and I got the macaroni and cheese. But the macaroni and cheese, it seemed like, well, it's something I want to say, but I can't say, but because the perps will weaponize it against me, so I won't say. But yeah. But anyway, but I try to experiment with putting the I put the Chick-fil-A sauce in the mac and cheese. And I say, it wasn't bad, But I guess I might try it again. But that was one point in time that I tried the Polynesian sauce. And I thought I liked it. But then I forgot what it tastes like. But then I kind of figure maybe I don't like it. But I really like the Chick-fil-A sauce. But yeah. But I need to as I said, I need to, a lot of the times I try to avoid, the Illuminati fake fast food or whatever. Oh, my feet hurt. So, but on the way here, I was on the bus and I was, I sanitized my bag, my OCD or whatever. And they had a girl that looked like she was young enough to be my child. And she kept giving me mean looks like she wanted to hurt me or whatever. And then this guy him and his wife were tourists or whatever. And they were sitting directly across from me. And I wasn't even staring or looking at him, but I was looking straight ahead or trying to look. Excuse me. I was trying to look at I was trying to look across to try to see where we were at and how far away we were from my bus stop to get off. I didn't even think twice at trying to stare at or look at him, but he kept on repeating. He also kept giving me mean looks long after the female did what she did. And he was a white guy, and that was the Asian wife that was sleeping. She was laying on his shoulder and she was sleeping. But excuse me, the girl that acted like she wanted to fight me, she was a young black girl, and I mean, she ended up getting off at the same bus stop that I did. And when I was on the bus, I tried to not be scared, but I was afraid that, her mean looks was so mean that I was afraid she was going to put her hands on me. So, but when it's like, yeah, I mean, both of them, the looks that they gave me was such murderous type of hatred, extremely strong hate. But they got so many people that's abusive, narcissistic, hard, and mean, and act like as if they're eternally angry. That they have so many people want to say, so many angry people nowadays that they don't have much joy, in this world, in these days, But there were so many more things I, wish I could tell y'all or talk about, but I can't say right now. Certain things I can't say at all, certain things that I just can't say right now and have to put it off until another time. Ow, ow, ow. My left foot is trying to lock up on me, but with my video that I did earlier today, that had a perp part of the cult that spewed out the same fake comments like the rest of the perp cult criminals, and a perp I never seen or heard from before, with the fake account 4 months old. Imagine if someone has an account, a YouTube account that's like 2 weeks old. How are they gonna talk about what you've been doing for years? or it's the same stalkers with fake new accounts. But, you know, they gave her 11 fake thumbs up, you know, for the bullying me, and all I got was 4. It's like I'm the only YouTuber that, and even all the amount of subscribers that I have, I still, you know, excuse me, post whether a community post or a video. If it might be 1 or 2 hours and I still barely got 1 thumbs up on a community post or a community post or a video. But if anyone part of the cult, you know, post something hateful and false, and then within 2 or 3 minutes they already got 38 likes on their fake abusive, fake, lying comment, you know. But people want to grade my content based on whether or not they think the topic is positive or negative, or they dismiss and ignore me documenting my targeting. But other targeted individuals don't get treated like that, you know. They're not condemned for being quote unquote negative for documenting their targeting experiences. Or, you know, people cut me off and don't want to hear they cut me off and don't want to hear what I have to say. I'm saying out because now they're trying to cause Charlie horse and pain in my right leg. But I'm looking at my face right now. My face, the skin on my face does not look my face does not look healthy. But at the moment, I don't know if it's because I washed my face and, you know, it's been a while since I had a shower because of being on the streets and stuff. I think the last time I had a shower was like Thursday or Friday, you know. Oh, the Charlie horse in my leg. So I'm so tired. But, you know, it seems like people don't care about my life and they're playing games with my life. They're either playing games with my life or they're destroying my life and thinking it's a game. Oh, man. Oh, man. Ow, fuck. Ow. Ouch. Oh. The Charlie horse in my right leg. Ow. Ouch. Ow. Ooh. Ow. Now they're trying to do both legs. Ow. Oh, man. Oh, man. Hold up. They're trying to... Oh. Okay. Oh. So, they caused me to lose my train of thought. I forgot what I was talking about. But, they were cramping my legs up. Excuse me. See, they did that to distract me they hit my legs with the weapons and distract me on purpose. And now they manipulated for me to forget what I was talking about. My leg still hurts, but it's feeling a whole lot better, but it still hurts. But I forgot completely what I was talking about. But that's bullying. They make it like it's supposed to be deserved punishment. You don't have the authority. You don't have the authority to. Yeah, I completely forgot what I was talking about. I forgot what I was in the middle of talking about. Um, but I think I remember talking about how the perps get undeserved, lots and lots of thumbs up for their hate comments, but people see they're making noise harassment. I can hear the thumping noise or whatever, like as if someone is tapping a coin against the wall or something. But the jacket that I have is size 3X. I thought it looked like I was losing weight, or the pants make my legs look skinnier and my waist and thighs or whatever look skinnier, and they're size 3X. But the coat that was given to me, is also size 3X, but I kind of could barely fit it, But one of the ladies was excited to give it to me and like very, very happy and everything. And the other lady that supposedly got the coat from her house, it seemed like she was abusive, narcissistic, and controlling and mean, and had her face twisted up mad. And she had her face twisted up mad, and she was a little bit mean and rude, but it's like I had no choice but to take the freaking coat. Otherwise, I'd have been like, well, keep your stanky fucking coat, damn it, But she had her face twisted up mad, and, she kind of treated me like I didn't know any better, or like I was slow and retarded or whatever, Well, if you wanted to treat me mean, you shouldn't have offered me your freaking fake freaking coat. And it's like, and I don't even wear those type of coats. And it's not the type of coat that, can keep me warm enough. And it's not my style of coats. It ain't the type of coat that's comfortable for me. But, I guess it keep me a little bit warmer. A little bit warmer, But the other lady, that was the really nice lady, that said that, she could find a better coat. She would, trying to see if she could get me a better coat, a bigger and better coat, But, yeah, oh, my legs seem like they're feeling better now. But, I took a few pictures of the coat. Well, I mean, a few pictures of me wearing the coat, Yeah, I just heard the noise again. But I'm thankful and glad to have had a hot shower, and for the first time in I don't know how long, I washed my hair and it actually felt soft. It actually felt soft. I'm like, well, what did I do? I didn't. Well, thanks for the soft hair, nature. Well, thank you, God. Well, God is above, higher than nature, the universe. He created all this. And he's the name above all names. Jesus. Jesus is God in the flesh. Yeah, so. But, yeah, there's more I want to talk about and what I want to say. You know, but yeah, like the coat, like the sleeves on the coat, it's like the with the sleeves on the coat, the the arms seem a tad bit long, but the arms seem a tad bit long, and but around the shoulder area and the stomach area and stuff, it's like when I buttoned it up, it was kind of too tight. And the lady that brought it from her house, the mean lady, was yelling at me and saying, "That's because you got that hoodie on it, and you got to take that hoodie off, and this and that, whatever." Like, well, if the coat is kind of tight, well, it's, kind of tight. And, yeah. But the other lady, she was really nice and excited and happy, whatever. But yeah, like, well, in this kind of weather, how am I supposed to take off the hoodie and wear the coat, and I would still be freezing cold? So if I add the coat on top of the hoodie, well, I thought that was supposed to add a little more warmth, right? So, yeah, I'm sorry my brain is all scrambled up, 'cause I'm sleep deprived, and, trying to force myself to stay awake for another few hours. Like another, oh, I don't even know if I could stay awake for 4 more hours, But I'm too tired to live stream. Too tired to hand wash my clothes. And too tired to do a few other things I need to do. You hear it? But anyway, excuse me. Too tired to work on my writings like I really want to. And too tired to continue talking more like I wish I could and want to. So I guess I'll just, end the video right here. And it looks like I'm going to try to try to find a way to get to live stream later on. And that's the only possible way I could get help with more hotel nights. Because it's supposed to be uncomfortable and cold tomorrow evening and stuff too. Like, if I could get help to at least Thursday, like, hotel help until at least Thursday. And then, so I was able to convert the points. Well, I got a big discount, but, it was a little bit more, I mean, even with the discount, it was a little bit more expensive than I expected or what I thought, but I still got a discount, so, but, excuse me, yeah, Yeah, as I said, I wish I could work on more writings and work more hours of writing and more frequently. But, it's like I have to spend so much time, trying to fight for, shelter and food and whatever else I need to survive. And, so I'm asking right now. I mean, I used up all the points. So I'm asking right now if any people could pitch in and help for more hotel nights out of the cold, at least for like another 2 or 3 nights. And my body needs to rest. I'm angry and frustrated that I can't get to write as much as I want to due to my predicament. And so many personal writing projects are being very far held back because of my targeting and forced homelessness. And then even more so on top of that, the jail and court situation, everything. You know. But before I go, I wanted, yeah, I told y'all this morning about how YouTube had a glitch about how it was showing that everybody was showing an amount higher than what they were supposed to get for the YouTube AdSense or whatever, But it's like, even if I I'm like, oh damn, no, I got more I need to tell y'all. So it's like, excuse me. Remember I told y'all that the IRS with the taxes and Social Security Administration said that my writing is considered work and self-employment, and so is YouTube content creation considered work and self-employment. But when it's time to do the taxes, the stalkers, they falsely accuse me of not reporting this, and they don't know what the hell, when I go do the taxes, they say that I didn't earn enough. So they tell me, you didn't earn enough, so all you would get was, $6 back. So, I mean, it don't make no sense to fight for $6. It's up to you if you want to file it, and that's what they tell me, So they say it's too low for anything to worry about filing taxes anyway. But I still, try to go to the tax place just to stay on the safe side because you never know. So, like, for people to try to say I don't have a job and that I'm not working and that all I do is just beg all day, or, I'm scamming all day, when I do try to, whether it be, working on any of my writing, or if I'm actively, working a W-2 job, mopping floors, cleaning toilets, or washing dishes. They would attack me with weapons so bad, or do the noise campaign so bad, that I would have to be forced to clock out early and go home that day and end up earning like 4 hours less of what I was supposed to or could have earned. And if they have stalkers stalking and watching me heavy while I'm working and dealing with the workplace mobbing and all that and stuff, right when I said that, now they vibrate in my body and especially my organs. So yeah, so like by me doing this video right now, I'm working. I'm at work. I'm working. So it's considered work. So and then people try to tell me go out and look for a job and keep trying and stop making excuses. Well, I showed y'all job rejections. And if you're targeted, you know that they do that to us. So why are you going to blame and fault me for why I can't land a so-called W-2 job where I'm disabled with certain limitations? I'm dealing with the workplace mobbing. And it seems like people trying whatever they can to try to force me to be normal. You know, or force me to conform to the world. But people keep trying to control me and trying to tell me there's no excuse for you to not be going out looking for work. I told y'all that due to the jail and court situation, I'm being denied employment because of background checks showing up as, you know, me being falsely, you know, because they illegally swatted me. So that's why I think that go get a job is code word for sex work and prostitution and stuff. And then they pretend to be religious with it by saying, you know, trying to make it like as if I'm the one that, you know, being negative and having lack of faith, lack of spiritual faith of why I can't get this job and that job. You know, so if they say go get a job, but then nobody owes you a job or whatever. Like they had this person came on my, you know, one of my videos and said, you know, the reason why the reason why the perps keep, you know, harassing you and obsessed with you is because you're not working. And oh yeah, I work 2 or 3 jobs to keep a roof over. I always got to work 2 and 3 jobs to keep a roof over my head. Or if you were really targeted, you would be workplace mob off the doggone job, and they would make it really hard for you to keep a job. But tell me, how is gossiping about celebrities on social media, and you're kind of famous for it, how come that's considered a job and work? If I were to be doing cooking videos, y'all wouldn't call it work or a job. If I had a means to have access to like a stove and pots and pans and, you know, y'all would consider it just a hobby. Just like with my writing, you know, y'all don't look at it as work. And then you tell me, oh, you got to crawl before you walk. Oh, you know, it's unrealistic for you to expect to earn a living from your writing. Well, if the stalkers wouldn't make fake bad reviews on all my ebooks and stuff and try to sabotage and shadow ban and try to hide me trying to share my writings and stuff, you know, maybe my stuff could be pushed out and shown to more people. Just like they should keep trying hard to suppress my videos. And they suppress any media suppress any media that I post anywhere online. You know. Because they're trying to silence me. You know, as I said, so many people that's in many different ways trying to pressure you to be a normal or try to force you to be normal and try to bully you to be normal or their opinion of what normal is. And if the Bible say be not conformed to this world and be transferred to, you know, renewing of your mind, you know, why is everybody trying to coerce conformity and think I deserve to be stalked, abused, and attacked and harassed? You know, for not being able to be your version of, or your opinion or feelings or about what normal is, you know. So I have a topic that I don't know if I'm going to do a video on it or a blog post on, you know, for me to entitle the video or blog post, you know, how to spot a red triangle cult member. Excuse me. You know, all these thoughts always and ideas always come. Why do the thoughts always come while I'm taking a shower? Like writing ideas for blogging and or video topics or stuff to talk about in the YouTube video, or, you know, fiction writing. It's like the ideas always come when I'm taking a shower, washing myself, you know. But when I told that person, I said, well, you know, what make you? I thought you knew that in the TI community how hard it is for a real TI to even obtain to get any employment if they make it hard for us to even get a job. And they tell us go get a job, but they don't want us working. Because what if, okay, you stalkers tell me go get a job, okay? And okay, what if I did get a job? For example, with my disability, I can't work in certain environments and certain settings, you know. You see how quiet it is now? This is the type of, I need to work in this type of quiet environment and alone by myself, you know. I can't work in environments like the mall and a lot of these restaurants, especially on Canal Street. With my disability, I can't do it. And fake Christian narcissists will try to, you know, tell me, they might weaponize the scripture of all things are possible, or try to make it like, oh, you're lacking faith or whatever. Or, oh, yes, you can, and you're just making excuses. But no, really, with my disability, I can't. So why do the stalkers tell me go get a job, and then when I get a job, they harass, when they find out, it's like they harass me and say, we're gonna get you fired, we're gonna get you to lose your job. And then, you know, and yeah, we're gonna get you to lose your job and this and that. And then they follow through with their threats to get you wrongfully fired and stuff. Ow, they trying to electronically stab my foot for saying that, I guess. But so if they say go get a job, and then you go get a job and they get you wrongfully banned from the place, or say, for example, they have you illegally swatted your first day at work. If they have you illegally swatted by police and wrongfully banned and, you know, fired the first day at work, and so that's why when I say that when the gang stalkers harass me about that I should get a job and that there's no excuse, their version of job means sex trafficking, prostitution, and gang stalking. They want me to participate in gang stalking and prostitution. That's their definition of work. And I refuse. I'm not. And I promise, never, you know, So, but yeah, excuse me. And as I said, the more I say I'm tired of people trying to control me, abusive narcs, whether covert or overt narcissists, they will say, well, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do that and you don't have a choice. I'm like, bitch, who the fuck? Says who? Says who? For you to say that I have to do this and that I don't have a choice. So, like, if they say something like, if they hear that, I'm having all these problems or whatever, they'd be like, well, Candy, you have to leave New Orleans and go move somewhere else, such and such place. And you should go live in this place and that place. And, you have to do it. You don't have a choice. Well, I can't because I have to stay in New Orleans now. Because I know that if I were to go move, say if I were to go move to, let me think, if I were to move to, like, Kansas City, Missouri. If I were to move to Kansas City, Missouri, and it's what, November 10th? All right, say if someone donated me the funds to go somewhere in Kansas City, Missouri. First of all, it's too damn cold, and my disability, I'm too hypersensitive to cold, But if I were to go to Kansas City, Missouri, and then next month comes, okay, or January court date come, and if it's like, okay, they said like January 21st, a court date, and well, if I'm living there, then, how would I get the money back? I mean, get the funds if people play games like wait till the last minute or don't help me at all, and I'm sitting here getting scared, But then they have certain, because like the scenario would be like they would try to make like, oh, Candy, escape and dodge court date. Oh, we're gonna take her back to jail and she's gonna be extradited back to New Orleans from Kansas City, Missouri, or whatever. Oh, she's gonna be expedited, or she's trying to flee arrest or flee this trouble and that trouble or whatever, So I feel like, well, and get mad at the stalkers. Why is everybody getting mad at me for having to ask for help with hotel, food, and whatever I need, like toiletries and stuff? Why are people mad at me and talk about stop begging? Why aren't they mad at the stalkers for putting me in this predicament? Or people they want me to fault myself for what the stalkers did to me. And say that, that I have to, hold on wait a minute, they're making my eye itch. They're telling me that I have to take responsibility for my actions when it's actually not my actions, but the stalkers manipulating scenarios to cause not just me, but us targets to suffer. And so many people who don't care about me that's trying to control me, but they ain't trying to help. And they try to condemn me and trying to control, rearrange, and fix me. Yet they don't like me. If you're a bus driver and you're trying to tell me you should do this with your life and you should do that with your personal life and that. And then, after that, you sit there and, sometimes we don't even have to get into an argument. And, you just start acting weird and treating me nasty for no reason at all. And wanting to punish me with the silent treatment. And or a narcissistic, dealing with a narcissistic control freak fake friend that try to control your life and try to tell you what to do. And then, very coercive with trying to control you and be pushy and shove their fake beliefs down your throat. You know, if they give you a piece of clothing that you don't want and tell you you have to wear it, you know, and you don't want to. So, for example, if they try to give me these uncomfortable boots that like, well, if I don't wear that, I mean, I don't even wear boots. But if they try to, a narcissistic control freak fake friend might try to give me boots or whatever to wear. For an example. And like, I don't even wear boots. I'm more comfortable with sneakers at all times. Or even sneakers or flip-flops. You know. And I haven't worn flip-flops in a long time because of, you know, my homeless situation. But if I wasn't homeless, you know, I would be walking around. You know, if I had a place to live, you know, I'd be walking around the apartment house or whatever with flip-flops and put on my sneakers when going out in public and handle business or whatever, you know. But if a narcissistic control freak fake friend try to give me boots and say you have to wear this, or if I have a place to live and they try to buy me a TV and then say, well, you have to have it. Well, actually, I had a fake narcissistic controlling landlady. I heard she was the owner of that Section 8 housing that I had, not the landlady. She was the landlady, and the Hispanic couple, they were the owners. Yeah, so they said she was the landlady. Well, she called herself the landlady, but she was the one who got me into the house. She was the one who got me into the house, you know. But then the actual owner, they turned him into a perp, and he used to love me, but yeah, this fake Jehovah's Witness elderly lady named I don't care, I'm gonna say her freaking name, Geneva Hildreth. Like back in 2012, she was like 84 years old, and she was weird and narcissistic and controlling, and I didn't realize she was a perp. And you know, she would try to she had a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house in Inglewood, California. And she had a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house in Inglewood. And like she was the only one living there. And she would try to force shove furniture and she wasn't the only one that has done this. I've had neighbors in other places like Texas and South Carolina where I've lived in places, and they have narcissistic neighbors that try to force shove unwanted furniture in your house and tell you that you must have it or you have to have it. And then people say be careful of those kinds of people because those are witches that trying to control you, and people who practice witchcraft if they practice witchcraft and just desperate to put cursed furniture in your house. You know, or if someone want to try to give you food or whatever and tell you have to take it, and I'm like, but no, I already ate. And they try to make it like you have to take it, that you have to accept it. And I'm like, well, did you do something fishy with this? Why are you so, you know, corrosive and pushy with trying to force me to have unwanted food? You know, well, thanks for the offer, but why are you trying to shove it down my doggone throat? And you be the first to call me fat and greedy, and then throw it in my face about, oh, I had to give you this food. And you ain't had to give me nothing. I had to give you, like, say for example, all right, if you got a narcissistic control freak fake friend or whatever that make it like as if they're doing it up for you, I guess when they trying to put you in a love bombing love bombing stage. Love bombing stage. And I'm starting to wake up a little more now. I thought I was so sleepy, and I thought I was gonna get off the camera. I was gonna say, oh, it's time to go, whatever. So I'm a little more awake now. I guess ever since I propped up now, I'm a little more awake and alert. But so if they do something like trying to be extra fancy for you, like say, okay, if they make a homemade, if they go out of their way and get the finest ingredients, to get like a homemade alligator, oh yeah, fancy alligator and venison po' boy, even making the bread from scratch and growing their own lettuce out of their own homemade garden, and and getting cheese from the farmer's market, and getting, and then putting that thing together. And then if they're trying to, put witchcraft behind it, and, if they're trying to make it like, well, you have to have this sandwich. I'm like, but, oh, you caught me at a bad time. I already ate, and I don't have anywhere to, I don't have, if I'm homeless on the streets, I don't have anywhere where I could, put the sandwich. If you want to give the sandwich to another homeless person that's hungrier than me, go ahead. Excuse me. And so then they would get mad, and then say, for example, they might get mad or whatever, and then they start doing covert, passive aggressive bullying, childish, petty, passive aggressive bullying for the next like 3 or 4 weeks or a month or so. And when you were at wit's end and had enough, and y'all end up clashing and having a whole argument, and they trying to tell you off about yourself, and they try to throw it in your face like, yeah, I'm the one who had to fix your hungry, fat, greedy ass homemade alligator sausage, and you weren't even grateful for it. And and if they're doing this in front of flying monkeys, or if they go back and gossip behind your back to their flying monkeys, and say that, and they try to doctor up their words to over exaggerate, but then when you tell the truth about their abuse, they're lying, saying you exaggerate. They're trying to minimize if they push you really hard during a confrontation, and push you hard down the ground and make you fall and hit your head against the doorknob, and then they'd be like, they will lie and say that you over exaggerated and threw yourself against the doorknob and hit your own head, even if there's security camera or video camera evidence that they pushed you so hard that you lost balance and hit your doggone head. And they will smear campaign to the cops and play innocent and get away with it. And the cops be threatening you, and the cops be yelling at you and threatening to have you locked up in a mental institution. While they, and then after the cops are gone, then they gossip and laugh and brag about, yeah, I did this to her, I did that to her, yeah, I got her ass locked up, ha ha ha, whatever, So yeah, like, when they be narcissistic and controlling and try to give you things, and then they know when you're at your lowest. If they try to give you things and then be like, well, like with the Geneva Hildreth lady, what she did was she tried to force unwanted furniture in my house when I moved in 2012, and then hounded me down 3 or 4 years later, bullying me and hounded me down for money, saying that I owe her. And she manipulated and swindled me out of the money, And it's like, I didn't even want that fake furniture in the first place. I kept telling you I didn't want it, or I didn't have any use for it. Well, I needed the bed, but the armoire and whatever else, I've been living with doggone the bare minimum. Like, in a lot of different places that I've lived at, like even living in Denton, Texas, if all I could, and I've seen other professed targeted individuals too, if they're not homeless and they have a place to live, the place that they're living at, they're sleeping on a mattress. I've had to, pour enough that I'm just sleeping on a mattress, sleeping on a mattress that's on the floor, And certain professed targeted individuals have said that if they have a bed with metal, like the bed frame with metal and stuff, they said that the perps will use that to attack with the weapons harder, especially if you're trying to sleep. So a lot of professed targets can't have like a bed with a box spring and this and that, whatever. So it's like, to stay safe from the directed energy attacks, they have to sleep on a mattress on the floor. Or they have to do stuff like tape up a bunch of aluminum foil on the windows, saying that, that's part of the shielding from being, attacked with the dews and stuff, But I'm homeless, so how could I do any shielding? The only shielding I could do is, with my ears, with the noise harassment campaigns, But yeah, and another thing that Geneva Hildred lady, what she did to me was that she had a van, a handicap van, and she said her husband died, and she was trying to sell me the van for $12,000. And I said, I don't even, have the money. I don't even, where would I get $12,000 from? I don't even get $12,000. And she kept hounding me down and trying to act like she's trying to force me to have that van, But when I do need help with certain things, like seem like nobody want to help. Well, at that time, I didn't have the funds. Okay, I was still making, I'm sorry, not making. I meant to say, receiving. I don't remember how much I was getting, but they said, yeah, but I don't remember how much I was getting at the time, but I'm pretty sure it was less than, I wasn't getting a whole lot, but it was definitely less than $1,000 a month. And I was on Section 8. And I think the rent was like $179 a month. And then I had to pay water, trash, and I'm sorry, not water. I meant to say I had to pay electricity, trash, and sewer. With LADWP, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. And I forgot what the electric company was. And I remember in 2012, when you're trying to do business and trying to get like your lights, you get a new place and trying to get your lights turned on and stuff. And then the customer service person, will be abusive and narcissistic and rude and get an attitude with you and try to threaten you, like threaten to report you or threaten to refuse service to you when they're the ones who had the attitude first, and you question like, why are you being rude, and they make themselves difficult to communicate with on purpose. And if I'm like, why you getting an attitude, So but yeah, so it's like it seems like we got to deal with this targeting and the narcissistic abuse and all these psych games, you know, and manipulation. And that Geneva Hildred lady, she was part of the fake Jehovah's Witnesses cult, and she was weird. And you know, but she was, you know, she was a perp, and I didn't know at the time, you know, but she had me at her house at least once. Oh yeah, she's like at least once or twice she had me over at her house to sign the paperwork for the lease to get in, and it's like I couldn't wait to get out of that transitional housing to get that Section 8 apartment. I mean, I'm sorry, it was a Section 8 duplex. It was triplex house. Excuse me. And in 2012 and part of 2013, I was living peacefully in that house. My neighbors used to love me. And it was around slightly before the biological mom Frances passed away. It was like I noticed like July or August 2013 was when my neighbors started to be weird. And then after my twin sister slandered me to one of my other neighbors, that's when they definitely started like all of the neighbors, even the ones that falsely profess to be Christian, have, you know, betrayed and turned against me and started perping, gang stalking and doing weird stuff to me and being fake and quit talking to me, and they started gaslighting me, tampering with my mail, putting smushed dead birds on the doorstep or dead animal feces on my doorstep. And then when I open the door, I'm swarmed with a bunch of flies. Or they would enter in and out of my gate on purpose and vandalize and take the knob off the gate on purpose to make me feel unsafe. And then neighbors trying to control me and think they got the fake authority of the landlord. They think that they're my boss and trying to control me and stuff, you know. Or they have that one nosy, bossy neighbor that think that they're your mother. Like that's what someone said about Miss Vicky Carey that turned into a gang stalker. That when she was trying to narcissistically abuse me and boss me in my YouTube live stream, they said, "Oh, maybe she was trying to mother you." You know. So, you know, neighbors that think that it's like everywhere I would move to, it's most neighbors that they would mind their own business, but this one neighbor that act like they think they own you and think that they're your handler or something, and trying to control you and trying to get in all your business and violate your personal boundaries and everything, you know. Always that one bossy, nosy neighbor, or sometimes it might be two households of neighbors, you know, that it's like, it seems like this just one designated narcissistic, bossy neighbor, you know. But I think in March 2013, I think was the start of when no, it wasn't. Backtrack to all right. When I was living in Los Angeles, that lady, Miss Patricia Horton, another abusive, narcissistic, fake Christian perp, that she acted like she was like eternal abusive, narcissistic, hard and mean and eternally angry. And one time I went to like they would have certain situations where you could go to a church service and then they would give you like a lot of food and produce after the church service. And then one time I had like so many tomatoes and strawberries that I couldn't eat them all. So I shared them with the neighbors when I was new to that apartment. And Miss Pat was like, "Oh, I sure thank you for the strawberries." And she reminded me so much of the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder. And she was nice and normal and stuff. But then, after when I got raped by the Freemason, she kept her distance from me for and didn't talk to me like for a whole year. Because the police, like when I got raped by the Freemason, the police officer was going neighbor to neighbor, and I don't know what he was asking or telling them, but he was contacting all my neighbors about me, including neighbors across the street, neighbors around the corner, neighbors I didn't know. And like they don't know why you trying to talk. I mean, so she didn't talk to me for at least like a whole year. And then like a whole, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, at least a minimum of a whole year, she did not talk to me. And then afterwards, she started to be like bossy and narcissistic or whatever, And Mr. Ron Burnham and his wife, Miss Tammy, they ended up turning to gang stalkers too. And one time they tried to tell me about this that they wanted to sell. It was like an older model blue Chevy Tahoe that they wanted to sell me. And they wanted to sell me the blue Chevy Tahoe, and for $600 they wanted to sell it to me. And the wife, she was talking about, "Oh, you sure you want that thing? Oh, that old gas guzzler right there," and something else she said. But the Mexican neighbor Carlos across the street was a nosy perp, and he one time tried to Carlos, the day after I moved in that that house, the neighbor across the street, Carlos, had a wife, and he was trying to make sexual advances at me. And he tried to tell me, "Ooh, but then when I got raped, he said, 'You better be careful.'" Well, hell, you were a potential rapist. You trying to make sexual advances at me, and you got a wife, and it was the less than 24 hours after I moved in, but it was the next day after I moved in, And so Carlos, Mr. Carlos, he went and I heard that he pulled strings to get Mr. Ron. It was a red Chevy HHR. And then one of my other neighbors, I think the car she had was, I forgot if it was black or red, Lynette, she was a perp too. And she acted like the typical fake LA people. But the landlord let all the other neighbors have a garage except for me. And so, but yeah, they gang stalked me out of my apartment. Well, the gang stalking cult period, not just the neighbors, but with the noise and the vibrating my body, they perked me out of my house and made me homeless. And made me back homeless again, because I came to Los Angeles homeless after dealing with being raped in Denton, Texas, and couldn't afford them raising the prices on the apartment that I was living in, and I ended up, after getting raped in Denton, Texas, I had to excuse me, and I didn't realize that was a gang stalking setup. And after me waking up to the truth about the Illuminati, the New World Order, and this and that, whatever, my throat is starting to feel sore. But yeah, excuse me. So like, yeah, I forgot what I was trying to say, but yeah, how they made me, I ended up homeless. But yeah, the neighbors turned against me and were doing weird stuff, and I couldn't get any peace, and they were doing constant forever noise campaign. And one time when my body was vibrating and I was hearing a lot of noise campaigns, and they had a Mexican guy that threatened to shoot and kill me for asking him about if to turn his loud music down, but Mr. Carlos, he and then once Mr. Ron and Miss Tammy, they traded in. I heard that they traded in that blue Chevy Tahoe for the red Chevy HHR. I heard that they got the deal was almost free. That was so cheap that was almost free. And that's when they started to act weird and act different. And even Miss Pat tried to say that Miss Pam, ever since they got the new car, which it wasn't even new, it was used. It wasn't a brand new car, it was used. But she tried to say, oh, ever since they got that car, they've been acting, excuse me, that they've been thinking that they're better than everybody and act. I forgot what exact words Miss Pat was trying to say, but she was trying to insinuate that they once they got their car that they started to act shiesty, what is it, shiesty or sadiddy or bougie or whatever, or they acted high-minded, big-headed once they got the red car. And it wasn't even a luxury car or whatever. It's just a damn weird looking Chevy. I didn't realize that they sold out and became satanic stalkers. And it seemed like Miss Tammy had a stronger Christian belief than her own husband, because her own husband was like damn near 60 years old and still, claiming to be a gangbanger, Excuse me. But yeah, even Mr. Ron and Miss Tammy's like they used to love me and love me enough when they first reunited with me. They loved me enough that they considered me family. And then like their grandkids and Mr. Carlos' son. I don't remember that boy's name, but I remember his face. I don't remember his name. I can't think of his name at the moment. But they were even sending the kids and grandkids to do perp things to me. And the kids blame it on each other, on who was it to take the doorknob off my gate. And I was wondering, why are the neighbors going through my gate and not going through their own gate? And then they took the knob off the gate and the landlord didn't care. He didn't want to fix it. But then the Section 8 people forced him to put the gate back on. And then he put on a gate with, no lock on so that anybody could just easily walk in, and I ended up not feeling protected or safe. And also when I was living in Los Angeles, I would go to the library or go to the beach and stuff, and then come back with all the doors in my house wide open, like front and back doors, because there was a back doors in the kitchen too. But I'm not gonna lie, that's one of my places that I used to love, and like one of my favorite, housing places to live. But my top favorite was that place at 1120 8th Street in Gretna. I really like that place. But I only got to stay living there for a month before they mobbed me out of that apartment. I mean that house, duplex house. But but it's like I didn't realize it was gang stalking, but I got frustrated enough to say, look, I'm tired of having neighbors to live amongst. And I said I didn't want to sign. I got frustrated because of the, community mobbing and neighborhood mobbing and gang stalking. It was before I realized that this was part of the stalking and harassment, and that the agenda to force you to be homeless. That I got frustrated and said, I'm not signing any more apartment leases. I was supposed to have ended up back homeless in 2017, in which I was for like a week or two homeless. But until I got that Section 8 house. And when I first got there, like the first few days of the first week was quiet and neighbors nice and normal. And over time, the neighbors started giving me problems. Oh, my right shoulder is trying to have pain and numbness at the same time. Yeah. So I've been talking for over an hour and a half. Well, I ended up, just rambling on. I didn't even, I didn't even expect to be, talk this long. What time is it? 7:31 p.m. in the evening. Like right about now, I probably would have been eating dinner. But I'm disappointed and frustrated that due to my hypersensitive ear disability, and I have other disabilities also, but my hypersensitive ear disability and the targeting and certain other things, and lack of finances, lack of sufficient finances, I'm frustrated, and lack of support, and the fact that they're hindering me via undeserved blacklisting and stuff, hindering me from getting the jobs y'all want me to have, or the jobs you claim you want me to have, like W-2 employment or 9 to 5. And I have a bachelor's degree, and and there was mobbing. I don't know what's it called. Like, when I was going to Nicholls State University and dealing with the, if you're being ganged up on and bullied and gang stalked in the, when you're being gang stalked in the college dorms and college classrooms, what is it? What kind of mobbing or whatever? I guess it's another form of community mobbing, that they bully you to the point where they try to set you up to end up slipping and falling behind with grades and stuff, and you can't concentrate, you can't focus, you end up suffering depression, and both the college professor and the students bully you and gang up on you and single you out and cause you meltdowns and you cry, or they drive you to the point of being forced to have to drop classes and you end up slowly but surely start failing to the point where you end up dropping out of college before you fail for real. You know, excuse me. Ooh, it really feels like I'm trying to. It really feels like I'm trying to get a sore throat. Well, not on purpose. No, I'm saying that my throat is trying to feel sore. That's what I mean. My throat is trying to feel sore. Like, but I'm frustrated that I don't. I'm frustrated and traumatized and scared. Like, last night was both torture and torment. Well, what's the difference between torture and torment? Well, torture and torment last night being out in the cold. And, you know, I don't know why the stalkers keep harassing me about a tent when I have nowhere where I can put a tent. And dealing with my OCD, I cannot deal with, putting down a tent or whatever because it's, dirty. But when I was homeless on the streets in Pensacola, Florida, I used to try to disinfect and sanitize the walkway and then put my sleeping bag there and lay down and try to cuddle and bundle up inside and ball up inside the sleeping bag. And I've had occasional moments where the perps will either steal all my stuff or they would steal my sleeping bag. But they would do stuff like walk on the area, wait till my rubbing alcohol is low, and then, walk, excuse me, and they will walk where I usually sleep at on purpose to cause me to get upset and panic or whatever. Or they would illegally drive their fake perp cars onto the area, by my homeless sleep spot or whatever, Or they would plant fake homeless perps to go and illegally occupy that spot. Or they would send fake Freemasons to buy up a business on purpose so that, it's not vacant anymore. And so, now if I go to that same spot that I've been going for 5 years, it's trespassing. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, 3, 4, 5 years, something like that, If I've been going there for like a long time. I'm like, well, wait a minute, how am I trespassing? I've been here for like 2 years. I've been sleeping here almost if I didn't have a hotel night, I'm like, I've been sleeping here for 2 years. How am I trespassing now? I'm like, I didn't know about this new fake Masonic business that they got running. Remember I used to talk about, well, some of y'all, the stalkers remember when I used to talk about the Masonic ghetto parties and noise campaigns and stuff? Yeah, and it turned out to be a fake ghetto narcissistic vegan restaurant. And the guy was an obvious perp and always trying to offer me food I didn't trust. I didn't trust to eat it because he might have done something to the food, You would offer me food, but you wouldn't let me sleep there. I was sleeping there for a long time and I didn't know that was your brand new business, But he ended up being a hardcore perp and, yeah, he had a ghetto narcissistic fake vegan soul food business. But a lot of people raved on and talk about the food was so doggone good. And now a lot of people talking about this so-called vegan soul food that they think it tastes better than hood soul food, Now, I remember they used to have a lady that used to sell vegan soul food out of a food truck downtown. And I never took advantage of it, but every once in a while, if I thought that I would, try to go and buy a plate. And she loved me enough that she would give me a plate at no charge. And I don't know what happened to her food truck business. And she used to give you a free sweet potato pie right along with the but she refused to sell the sweet potato pie by itself. Like it had to come with the meal. I'm like, dang, I wanted the sweet potato pie by itself. I wanted to be able to buy extra. She wouldn't let me. But she used to give me like free plates of food or whatever. And she was featured on Ellen DeGeneres too. I think she was featured on Ellen's show, and they helped her launch her business or whatever. I hope she didn't sell her soul, you know. But yeah. But I don't know if she's dead or alive. I mean, I don't know if she's still alive or not. But I don't see as many downtown. Like they used to have here in New Orleans, 2017, 18, 19. They used to have a lot of food trucks by Tulane Hospital. I don't know. I don't think they still have them. They used to have a lot of food trucks and stuff. Yeah. But they used to have like I used to suffer sleep deprivation bad, and the lady with the vegan she used to sell like different varieties of bean dishes, and if I used to get the Peruvian beans or something like that, or what's the Peruvian beans or navy beans, or I forgot what kind of beans you call them, or excuse me. And I used to suffer the sleep deprivation a lot, even when I had my housing. And I was suffering bad acid reflux. And whenever I had those navy beans or whatever beans, they used to help me sleep like a baby effortlessly. Those type of beans, I forgot what kind of beans they were. I just remember them being like whatever navy beans are. Not the regular white beans, but the other kind of beans called navy beans. The same kind of beans that the Muslim would have, the Muslim navy bean pies. I miss those kind of pies too. The Muslim bean pies and stuff. But certain people say, "Oh, you're Christian, you shouldn't eat that." Well, I haven't had the pie in years. Yeah. I thought I was just gonna talk for like I thought I was gonna talk for like 20 minutes max, and here's almost 2 hours. Oh man, now my left ankle trying to hurt. Yeah. So I'm angry that I can't get to have like a way to earn money and enough to be able to independently earn enough money to where I don't have to ask for donations. But earlier I was trying to talk about with the jail and court situation for the May 9th arrest from being illegally swatted. And that fake prosecutor told me that my judgment would never be, it will not be jail, but I would have to pay more fines. And the fruits of my labor from my YouTube check, if it was that $585 that I thought I was going to get, well, there was a glitch or an error in the YouTube system, I'm not going to get that much. But if I were to get that much, I couldn't even enjoy the fruits of my labor because they said that the bond fee or whatever was $500. When I got wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail. And I don't know if it was because it was Jefferson Parish or because I had another pending court case. And the stalkers followed through with their threats because, I got wrongfully arrested and illegally swatted and wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail January 9th, precisely 4 months sooner. So January 9th and then May 9th. January 9th, I was trying to get help to get hotel out of the cold And then May 9th, I was trying to get help with hotel out of the rain. And both times I have evidence of myself leaving the library and starting the live stream about at least 5 minutes before the library closed. And I was live streaming the whole time, but they kept sabotaging the live streams and I had to keep starting over again. But I was outside and there was the whole time you never saw me attempt to go back inside the building, But, fake Damnesia, he said, well, if you don't sell your soul, I'm going to call the library and, I'm going to call the library and tell them that I'm going to lie to them and tell them that you broke into the library with a screwdriver and try to steal computers and that you were drinking a lot of alcohol and this and that, whatever, So the stalkers, the cops or so-called authorities, even when they call up places and get me wrongfully banned and then show them my videos and stuff, they'll show themselves triggering me to be upset and think that that's proof of that I committed this and that crime. So, and then when I get wrongfully punished or attacked by people that's supposed to be authority, I'm forbidden and not allowed to explain myself and get further wrongfully punished. So, yeah, I heard that with the illegal extortion with the courts, exploiting the poor with the fines and stuff, that if you can't afford to pay, for, and I heard there's a lot of people, and even you don't even have to be illegally swatted, but they have a lot of people in that, that go to the Gretna jail that will tell me stories that the cops falsely accused them of doing things that they didn't do, and they end up being wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail and have to pay fines and this and that or whatever. And they said that if you and they said that's a whole like scam with the police department, the Masonic, narcissistic, corrupt police department and court system, that is like that's scam and fraud, that all from and that they had that police officer that got workplace mobbed off the job and bullied and forced to have to go to another police force because he exposed how Gretna police would bully their officer, the ones at the top would bully their officers to arrest as many people as possible, and that they have quotas to meet to and so that's why certain people try to say that the food in Gretna is so good that you'll go to Gretna and get some good food, but then be careful because you might go to jail for whatever reason, and they say go to Gretna for some good food and you'll find yourself in jail for nothing, so that they can meet their fake quotas and stuff, and exploiting the poor and indigent. Yeah. So like I'm getting way less than $500 this coming month. So yeah, it's supposed to be in 11 days. And as I said, I couldn't even enjoy the fruits of my labor if I gotta be forced to pay fines and be falsely found guilty for stuff I was falsely accused of and not allowed to explain or defend myself. So excuse me, and I heard that they do this to targets to keep them more poor. And I'm really scared for this winter because I don't know what else the stalkers might have in store for me. But the winter was so brutal. I mean, I'm sorry, the cold weather last night was so brutal that it felt like a never-ending assault. Just being like, I felt assaulted by being like out tortured and tormented out in that cold weather, you know, and then on top of that, cold and windy. That was like some sadistic ass fucking weather. And it's gonna be worse tonight. And my heart really goes out to whoever's suffering out there tonight. You know. But I'm trying my best to not be scared. And I'm trying my best to not feel afraid that, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to make it through this winter. Or they're going to, the stalkers bragged and admitted that they're going to do me worse this winter. So the stalkers, like after January 9th arrest and all those court dates, and they keep pushing the dates back, the stalkers bragged and said that before the June court date, I think I had a June court date, and they said, yeah, well, you know your fines or your bond or whatever will go up if we get you arrested again, you know, and they were bragging about how they're gonna illegally swap me and get me wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail again, you know, and they followed through with their threats. And when the officer, like, I'm wondering, like, how is me panicking that you're arresting me for something I didn't do, how is that resisting arrest? And they were trying to say, oh, well, you committed a crime by not being cooperative with an investigation. Well, I'm trying to tell you that they illegally swatted me and lied on me. And I had proof that I was allowed to, and that I was legally allowed to be at the library. Other people, they be there, like stick around for an hour or two after. And the stalkers, they waited until September 29th court date to you know, they waited till September 29th court date to you know, steal my backpack before court, because they knew that the paper was evidence and I had it notarized, and they're the ones who trying to tell me I have to get it. The online stalkers illegally swatted me, and the same ones who swatted me trying to pretend that they're fake helping me by telling me, oh, you're stupid for not knowing that you have to go get that paper notarized, and you would be a damn fool to try to send that paper unnotarized to the court, and the judge is gonna throw the book at you. I hope the judge throws the book at you and this and that, whatever. You know, it's like they cause you this problem and then pretend like they're trying to help you fix the problem, and then call you stupid, you know. And then, I mean, so it's like they want to try to call you stupid or whatever, you know. I'm like, well, I didn't know anything about this because this is all new to me. So, and the stalkers would be like, how dare you call doing YouTube videos, enjoying, how dare you getting donations, how dare you call it, you know, enjoying the fruits of your labor when all you did was lay on your back and pity, prostitute, and beg. And you had, and they falsely accused me of playing with myself. They falsely accused me of masturbating and stuff like that, and I never did that. You know, I never masturbated doing a YouTube video or a live stream. You know, I could be scratching my leg and then lie and say that I'm playing with myself or masturbating, because they're sexually perverted and sick traffickers. I have evidence of fake damnesia saying that you're going to go to jail and serve your sentence, and then we're going to traffic you to a brothel in Shreveport. The stalkers are threatened by me and feel like I need to be stopped, but they are the dangerous ones who need to be stopped before I get killed and be a victim of true crime. You might end up seeing me on true crime documentaries or videos or true crime YouTube channels. And I've been saying that since 2023. And the stalkers think that they got the fake authority to dictate that they're going to murder me and that I'm going to die, and that when I die, I'm going to be cremated. But then they keep threatening to throw me in the river. Well, if they say that New Orleans, Mississippi River is the deepest river in the world and over 200 feet, and it's hardly, if you get thrown in the river and go missing, that almost nobody gets recovered, But on rare occasions, I've heard stories about people being recovered, that their bodies being recovered, And for them to use the gang stalking, dream manipulation, nightmare tactic on me to try to cause me fears that, for me to have nightmares about drowning in a river. And then whenever I ride the ferry and I'm walking on the walkway to get on the ferry, I start having panic attacks. Start having panic attacks. Or if I'm, how they have when I'm by the aquarium and they have those railings by the river. If I'm walking close to the railings over there, I start having panic attacks, especially if I'm sleep deprived. I start freaking out and having severe panic attacks really bad. But I'm really scared for this winter, and I do not have, if I had a solution, I would act on a solution if there was a solution that I know how I can survive, how I can survive. But the only way that in my predicament of me being wrongfully banned from all shelters and most hotels, and now I've been wrongfully blacklisted from employment, and then dealing with my disabilities and stuff, because I feel like I wanted to stay in New Orleans, even though my family is against me, but I felt homesick. And that's why I came back after I lost that apartment in 2023 in Pensacola, Florida, I thought that I felt so homesick, and I thought that I was just going to come to New Orleans for like a couple of weeks until I could decide on where else to go. And I felt so homesick that I just decided to stay here in New Orleans, and and like fake Damnesia over the summer, he was harassing me with fake new accounts, and so it's like, I hate that, like when fake Damnesia, I do not know how he ended up with my phone number, and he was harassing me in 2023, and he harassed me so bad that I was forced to have to change my phone number. And now they're trying to harass me bad enough that they're trying to force me to have to forfeit that email account and the other emails that some of them I've been having for a few years, that they have no right to tamper with or try to mess with my emails. my email accounts. That's important business. And I don't have to explain what business it is because it's my business. The stalkers ain't telling me what their business is. So why am I obligated to say what purpose I'm using my email accounts for? You know? And they don't care what they tamper with or violate or destroy. You know? So, you know, they would, you know, make fake new profiles to harass me on YouTube. And as I said, I was going to, I'm thinking about, you know, doing, and I don't know if I'm going to do a YouTube video about it or do if I'm going to do a YouTube video about it or if I'm going to do a blog post about how to identify the fake, you know, red triangle cult criminals. You know, if the account is kind of new, and then, you know, if the account is like, you know, 1 day old, and they talk like they just think they know me so well, and they use like the terms like fraud and scammer, and you know, that's how you know that's the false narrative and they're part of the cult. And that fake Samantha lady, she pretends to be Christian, and I got this fake Christian stuff. Well, Christianity ain't fake, but she's fake. And I think she was in cahoots with Patricia Jerome also. You know, and so she believed when the stalkers, see, they make my eye itch right when I'm talking about it. When the stalkers made the fake smear campaign and lied and said they altered my video to make my eyes look black, and the Nerve is a Demon Terror person, he exposed last night or yesterday, he did a video to expose how they altered the video, and that he explained how they altered the video and how he knew that how they altered the picture, because they took a screenshot. The perps took a screenshot of me having an emotional meltdown, breaking down and crying. And then they made a mockery of it by doing by coloring the eyes black and then trying to make a meme out of it. And then lying to people and saying this is Candy, you know, her eyes are black, and the stalkers were lying and saying that my eyes turned black, and that the picture is that it's not altered. And then they try to lie to people and say that I'm so demon possessed and need Jesus, but they're the ones worshiping the devil and hiding. They refuse to when they do videos and refuse to show their real face or name. And hide behind. I mean, I bet you if someone were to see fake Damnesia, I bet you he's tatted from bald head, short, fat, small dick, you know, and full of tattoos and piercings. And he probably got dead eyes or psychopath eyes. Or if people want to say that these stalkers look like a walking corpse casket ready. Oh, that's what they want. That's what certain people want to say, you know. That they just look dead. But people like Miss Samantha, Patricia Jerome, Anthony. When I say, Anthony, narc-ass phony Anthony. And Darius and Monique and all them, when they approached me, they would tell me that they think I'm such a pure soul. Or when they have their beginning stages of, you know, trying to approach me and love bomb me and trying to build a fake friendship and everything. Excuse me. You know, they try to tell me that they believe that I'm chosen by God and that I'm full of light and that they believe, that they truly believe that I'm chosen, that I'm chosen by God and everything. If they say that they believe I'm chosen by God, and you know, and that they think I'm such a pure soul or a beautiful soul and everything, and that, that they can tell I'm a child of God, and that I'm full of light and everything. And then once they get hateful and turn against me, and then their narrative changes about me, and then they lie and say that I'm the devil and I'm crazy and everything, and I'm schizophrenic, and that I'm the narcissist when it's actually them. And then, see, they're making my nose itch. Excuse me. And they lie and say I'm the narcissist when it's them trying to control me. Remember what I talked about earlier about people being weird and trying to control me and stuff and manipulate? And and then once they get hateful and turn against me, or after we had an argument or something, then they change their entire narrative about me, and then start, they change their entire narrative about me, and then start, linking up with people who they know is the satanic stalkers. And Miss Samantha and Monique, they were both applauding my twin sister's lesbian relationships with women. And I'm like, well, no real Christian would do that. And do it on purpose to think that they're trying to get underneath my skin and upset me. I mean, before Miss Samantha betrayed me and turned against me, and then she lied and said I was the one that betrayed her. So for her to say stuff like and as I said, in 2019, I didn't know anything about CashApp. It was Monique that told me about CashApp. Uniquely Made Warrior. She was the one in 2019 encouraged me to get CashApp. And then she was on that Psych World 35 CashApp. And she was the first to Monique encouraged me to get the CashApp in like November 2009, October or November 2019, and she was my first donor, and she donated me $40. And I didn't beg or ask for nothing. I was trying so hard to be independent. And they used to have this girl in the TI community that lived in Washington State. I don't remember her name, but she was very supportive, but then she disappeared. And she used to, offer to donate, and I used to be like hesitant to accept it. And she used to say, like, she said, don't be a, I think she was trying to say, don't, she was trying to say, don't be too proud to accept help or something like that. I don't want to get her words mixed up, but, I mean, once I started being more vocal and outspoken about the targeting, that's when they started, that's when I became chronically homeless. Homeless. Once I started to be more vocal and outspoken about the targeting and everything. And rapes started happening. When I woke up to the Illuminati and the New World Order and stuff, that's when all these rapes started happening to me. And all these men trying to offer me to prostitute and sex traffic. I didn't realize they were sex trafficking gang stalkers. I mean, and even when I was homeless in 2018 and 19, I would walk down Canal Street, and they used to have this man. I don't remember what his face looked like or what car he drive or whatever. And he would be hanging around Canal Street and always trying to and there were men in Pensacola trying to do that to me too. Trying to offer me a place to live and trying to offer me to come shower at their house and trying to make false promises that they're not going to do anything sexual to me or nothing, and I would decline their offers each time. And one time I was in Pensacola, Florida, and I had, it was like a Sunday, and they had a guy that offered me a ride, and he actually got mad and kicked me out of his car because I refused to do anything sexual with him. Well, he lied and pretended to be innocent and made it like he was just gonna give me a ride somewhere. And when I went to this church and I told them about, the gang stalking, and they bullied and mocked me out of the church. Mobbed me out of the church and bullied and mocked me or whatever. And I had been like gang stalked and mobbed out of churches if I try to join a church. And so people try to be pushy and say you have to join a church. Fake Christian narcissists say you have to go to church. But if I go to church, I get community mobbed and bullied out of the church. In the same way of being like bullied and mobbed and wrongfully banned from homeless shelters and workplace mobbed at the job, or if I go to college or any schooling, or they were bullying workplace. They would community mob me to force me to have to drop off and withdraw from all my classes and everything. So I couldn't excel or complete or finish. But I completed my my college degree, and now there's no more proof because the stalkers, when they stole my orange backpack. Oh wait, guess what? There is proof because I think I got them on my some YouTube videos. Yeah, some some videos or whatever, Oh, my legs are swollen and they're hurting. But being targeted, even it's another female, if you're targeted, you can't trust to go live with nobody. Because you never know if they're going to set you up or have you institutionalized, jailed, or murdered or trafficked. Trafficked or murdered. You never know what they're going to do. Even the females be trying to set up another female to be trafficked. Like, I'm 42 years old and I'm supposed to be trafficked by a 19-year-old girl. I'm old enough to be her mother, and she trying to traffic me? And some of these traffickers pretend and pose as God-fearing Christians. And they be wolves in sheep's clothing and terrors amongst the weak and the goats amongst the sheep. Yep. Yep. And my legs still hurt. But, the stalkers are expecting us targets to prostitute and live with a handler for a place to live and trying to control us. No matter, I'm heterosexual. I don't want to do stuff with any other women, but me being traumatized from being raped, it's excruciating torture for a man to thrust in and outside of me, and it hurts. And there was multiple times off and on, I consider myself, asexual and just not attracted to no damn body, But generally, I'm heterosexual. Always have been, But I'm really scared, and the way the stalkers brag about like the fake damnesia and now the fake sticky perp, if they're, threatening me with sexual encounters and threatening to rape me or threatening to traffic me and stuff like that, My right shoulder hurts. So, you know, the gang stalkers, they be sex trafficking and raping targeted women. And I heard even some of the targeted guys end up being the victims too. You know, not all, but some, you know. Excuse me, but they might have people that's homeless and don't know it, but scenarios are set up for them to be like when they stage it to where, oh, the weather is cold like it is gonna be tonight, and they plant a guy in a gang stalking guy in a targeted female's life, and they try to manipulate and lure her to a place and make false promises that, oh, you'll be safe and you'll always be safe with me, and I'm not gonna hurt you, and I love you and I care about you, and I just I don't want to see you die out in the cold. And then they, if a woman doesn't know her options and doesn't have anywhere to go or whatever, and then if he trick and manipulate her to go to his house and then he rape her, or if they try to force, they take advantage like of homeless people. And I heard that they say stay away from these shelters because they're sex trafficking. A lot of the shelters are sex trafficking cults that hide behind Christianity and religion. And they have a certain fake religious cults that's satanic, that if you peel back, they pretend to have a Christian front, but they say if you peel back the layers of an onion, you can see that the core is satanic. There is a satanic core that has a fake Christian front. And they try to pretend to be Christian to lure well-meaning, sincere Christians that end up getting deceived, and we don't know. And we be tricked and deceived, and then, and certain cults feel like sex and satanic ritual, sex magic is their fake way of salvation. And it's not, like I've heard of certain cults that think that perverted sex is their way of salvation. Oh, my shoulder hurts. So but one time they had a lady from Michigan her name was also Lisa. And she had a blog. I'm not going to say what the blog is, but she used to speak out against the Illuminati from a Christian perspective. Not Lisa Ruby, it's a different Lisa. And she used to speak against the Illuminati from a Christian perspective. They making my face itch. And then I guess they gang stalked her to the point where she gave up and quit, and she turned away from Jesus Christ, and I think she caved in and sold out. She caved in and sold out, and then cut off all contact with me. And she blamed it on being hurt by Lisa Ruby. And she used to speak against the Illuminati from a Christian perspective, and also speak a whole lot against narcissistic abuse. And she was the one who told me that she behooved me to research narcissistic abuse. But I would rather be alone than to try to control somebody. I would rather be alone and away from people. I feel like the world is so scary, and like I have panic attacks just to be around people because people are scary. You know, I don't even feel protected or safe around people. Like when I see just another human being, I feel scared and dangerous. I'm saying I feel scared that I was trying to say I feel scared and in danger. I meant to say that I'm sleep deprived. Talking ahead of myself, but I'd be afraid that they are dangerous. Even kids will hurt and kill you nowadays. You know, Shucks, hearing stories about even 3-year-olds shooting and killing their parents and stuff. Like, how the hell a 3-year-old baby get a doggone gun? You know? And one time I saw a YouTube video or something about a man whose dog accidentally shot and killed him because the dog, his paw had touched the trigger on a gun, and I guess the dog was like something like that, and then the man got shot and killed by the dog. I'm like, are you serious? Wow, But one time I saw, it was like a YouTube video where I heard a story about a 3-year-old boy was playing with a gun and he shot and killed his own mom. This was a while back. And like I heard this story about these two men who were roommates, and one man got sick and tired of the other man always stealing his food, and they got into an argument over Taco Bell, and the victim the victim of the theft, got murdered by the perpetrator for confronting him like that. That he was sick and tired of the other man stealing his food, and the other man, shot and killed him. And I'm like, this is why I can't have roommates, because, I can't have roommates or housemates. Now, I remember when I was in a shelter in Pensacola, and they had a white female named Sarah that was a perp, and she was younger than me and thought she had the authority over the air conditioner. And it was like December of 2019, and I was in a shelter, and they they community mobbed me and bullied me and ganged up on me the next day. I forgot the name of the shelter, but it was a shelter in Pensacola, and I was afraid that, Sarah was going to hurt me, or we were going to end up fighting, because, we basically were not fist fighting over the air conditioner, but we were like, one person get mad and turn the heater up, and the other person turn the air down. And it's like, Sarah, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, why are you trying to put the air on 65 when I'm trying to have the heat at least 78 to 80, and it's freaking 34 degrees outside? What are you thinking? It's freaking freezing cold. And then she tried to fight me over the damn air conditioner and the heater or whatever, And she was the damn roommate in the shelter. And Sarah was the perp. And then when I tried to film and record her, she was like, now I was told I couldn't have my earbuds, but she was allowed to blast loud TV and loud videos from her phone. And every time I tried to film and record her, she would hurry up and pause and try to gaslight for me to try to collect evidence on her gang stalking and using noise. Sarah just was all around atrocious. So like being targeted, like you can't even trust even your own families to be, to live with. Your own families will either, family members will hurt you, set you up, do you something. Like people say being targeted, you cannot trust anybody. They say you can't even trust your own thoughts. Well, a lot of people say living a Christian life, that the Bible said we cannot trust in ourselves and trust God only. But they say don't even, like a lot of times I'd be scared of my own self. I be scared of my own clumsiness with the sleep deprivation and stuff. Like, how do you be so scared that you're scared of yourself? I don't know if am I MK Ultra Mind Control program? Am I programmed to be scared of myself? Like, I'm scared of myself. Yeah, I'm scared of myself. You know? And I'm scared of, I'm like, I'm like, how? I'm because of people being so mean and abusive and everything and cold hearted. Like, I'm traumatized by humanity and scared of humanity. You know, scared of people. And I'm scared of dogs and certain other animals. You know, I'm scared. Um, you know, I had a few traumatic experiences with big dogs, you know. But little dogs, they be so cute and, you know, and little kittens. But even baby kittens could be doggone vicious, you know. But I don't know when or if there's a next time that I could hug or pet a kitten or a puppy, you know. But the stalkers try to falsely paint me as one who, you know, sadistic towards animals. And I was told the other day, you know, don't let that get to me or whatever. You know, but and I wanted a pet cat so bad, you know. And I had a perp neighbor had gave me a pet cat, and I she waited till I was like broke and didn't have the funds to be able to take care of her and stuff, you know. And she was still a kitten, and she was a black kitten, and I named her Creole, you know. And I put her in the like I didn't like the neighbor caught me off guard and just gave me the cat, and I was like, you know, I don't know what would have happened if I would have said that. I mean, as much as I wanted the cat, you know, if I would have said I couldn't really afford the cat, but I wanted the cat, but I couldn't afford it, you know. But one time when I had the cat in 2017, I tried to when I tried to clean up and mop the floor, and I put the cat in the shower area, and the cat was trying to get out, you know, and she was determined to get out. But I was mopping. I mean, I had to put her away because I was mopping the floor, you know. And poor cat, make me almost want to cry. That the cat like bust her head in the shower area, and like it was a lot of cat blood, you know. She bust her head, you know, trying to get. She bust her head trying to get She busted her head trying to get out of the shower. I mean, out of the shower area while I was trying to mop the floor and clean up and everything. And and I didn't get to have her for long, you know. And excuse me. But that was the last pet cat I ever got to have. You know, like the neighbor had just caught me off guard and gave me the cat, and I couldn't afford to take care of her, you know. But like when I had some cats before, and dealing with Hurricane Katrina, no, it was a cat I had, and dealing with Hurricane Katrina, and I heard the cats survived Hurricane Katrina, you know. And when I was living in Los Angeles, before I was forced to have to abandon my housing in Los Angeles and ended up homeless due to the weapons, and I couldn't take the turtles with me, and I couldn't get anybody to take the turtles. And I didn't even get to get any closure on what happened to the pet turtles, you know. And and the turtles, I got them for cheap, like $5 or whatever. Well, I was able to afford to take care of the turtles when I had the housing, but once I became homeless due to being attacked with the weapons and stuff that made me homeless, and I was forced to have to leave everything behind, including the turtles, and struggled with the belongings that I had. You know, excuse me, and I named the pet turtles Hezekiah and Lazarus. Yeah. Yeah. So, like out of the Bible, you know. But I don't even know what gender they were. It probably could have been two girl turtles. I don't know. And they were baby turtles, and I got them from a Chinatown in downtown Los Angeles. You know. And I forgot the man that sold them to me. I forgot what funny thing he said. I hope the thought will come back to me because it was really funny, and how he said it was really funny. And I think that was around the time that I was introduced to red bean ice cream and fell in love and never looked back. Excuse me. I thought red bean ice cream would be disgusting, but it's really good. I like, I mean, if I could have Asian red bean ice cream and the Muslim navy bean pie together in one dessert, that would be awesome. But I don't know how I could get something like that. I don't know how I could get both of them, you know. Um, yeah. But I didn't expect to come just rambling for so long. I could have been live streaming, but I'm glad to be taking a break because from ending up having to scream, and I'm just talking calm and just talking about different things, you know. But and speaking of cats, the foster sister Joni had a daughter named India. Excuse me. And she was 2 years old, and the the so the cat was like an orange tabby, my favorite. And India used to say, "Mine, mine, mine." And so the fake foster mom allowed, when India was 2 years old, she allowed India to name the child Mine. You know, I mean, I'm sorry. That's not sleep deprivation. She let India name the cat Mine. So the cat's name was Mine. And then she confused India by getting another identical cat, and they named the cat Minnie. And then the fake foster mom tried to control the name of my cat, and and I'm like, you ain't gonna try to change the name of my cat. I name my cat what I want to name my cat. I'm a grown ass woman. I'm such and such years old. I'm not a freaking kid anymore. Try to name my cat Minnie Minnie. No, my cat's name is not Minnie Minnie. It's what I want to name the damn cat, not your cat. Yep. So yeah, Yep, and yep, when I was in New Orleans Towers, and I first got to New Orleans Towers, don't you know that they tried to community mob me out of there my first week and trying to make threats of eviction, and they had, you know, the staff and neighbors ganging up on me and bullying me and trying to have me wrongfully evicted, and that was my first apartment that I ever had, and I was 20 years old. Living in the dorms, I'm not talking about that, you know, but my first actual apartment. And the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, she would not let me get that apartment, you know. But let me get off here. I love y'all, and the time is 8:34 p.m. in the evening. I don't think I'm gonna live stream. I'm freaking tired, and I'm disappointed that I can't get freaking laundry done. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sound like that. My throat. I don't know, my mind is scrambled, like, because of the sleep deprivation and stuff, you know. But I urgently need help. I mean, if I had a way on my own, if I weren't in this targeting situation of forced homeless, and if I had a way on my own to survive and be independent without having to ask for hotel every day, trust me, I don't like having to do it, but that's the only way I know how to survive. You know, only option I have. And as I said, instead of people blaming me, they should blame the stalkers who manipulate for us targets to suffer in these situations. But I wish I could talk more, but I'm going to get off here. I love y'all. I'm not live streaming tonight. I made my decision. I'm not live streaming tonight. But I love y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. And please, I need help with at least 2 or 3 more hotel nights out of the code. I love y'all, and thanks so much if you were able to have the patience and time to listen to me talk for, you know, over 2.5 hours. And, you know, even if you take breaks and come back, you know, and watch the video or whatever. But I love y'all, and keep me in your prayers, and I'll see y'all